Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
All right. So we're on Sip and Pep, the Pep Talk Posse.
This is it.
Wine's ready. Is our
Mm-hmm.
pep ready? Always. Let's
Mm-hmm.
jump in.
All right. So I think what stemmed out of one of our previous conversations, we did this exercise. And as we spoke about it, even after our sip and pep session, because we always have a post session to talk about it. Um, One interesting thing about how much we're not alike was the size of our cubes. And if you remember right, my cube was like, a foot by a foot, and yours just like filled the entire field. Um, so,
The
and now,
center of attention, huge.
and
I
that
have,
cube,
I just have the huge other things energy too.
right. And we realized that the cube represented your ego, and you were all embarrassed. And I was like, God, I wish I had that big of an ego. I think it's something important to have, and you've got to own it. And that's where we were talking about, let's make this discussion around ego. Because I think today's society has a lot of different views. I think women in leadership, there's another point of view about what they should and shouldn't do and how big their ego should be. And if you think
Or
about it,
not.
or not, right? And if you think about it, what are pep talks? They're to pump you up. They're to build you up. They're to build your
Hmm.
confidence and make your ego bigger. So honestly, it's a positive thing. I don't know why that it's such a negative connotation to the word ego.
You're so nice to me. I felt like I got caught off guard. It's like, why is the cube so huge? Why is it the center of attention? But you're right. I feel like, see, that's why I felt the way I did, right? Not because um that I'm sad that I have a huge ego, but the fact that you're made to feel that way. In the household I grew up in, everything was be humble, don't be too, loud and this and that. And I feel like everything tells you to just lose every ounce of self esteem, or, oh, so what, your elders said something, so what, your parents said something. Um, just take it, or what did they say? Roll with the punches.
Yep.
And it never felt right. This is how I'll say it. Everybody keeps telling you, do this for me, do this so I can feel comfortable. Change yourself in such a way that I feel comfortable. And I just may have a controversial opinion, but this is my life. Shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
I feel good? Shouldn't I be doing the things that I like? Of course, if I was a serial killer, probably not. But that's not the case. The case is I just want to live my life. I want to do my things. I want to say what I think. And I don't know why it becomes such a thing. It's whenever you say, "Oh, they have an ego." And you automatically think that, oh, this person just like doesn't think about anybody else but themselves. I think, on the contrary, they think of themselves maybe first, but not only themselves. Do you know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah. Like I think ego is self, right? And so when people are talking to each other or talking about someone that might have an ego and they're hurt by it or they're bothered by it, ego's self. They're not doing anything to you, and that was as we were talking about like, okay, when is it bad? There you can only go too far before it starts to become negative. And in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
it's once it's being portrayed onto others.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should have all the confidence in the world. Once you start putting someone else down, that's when it's negative.
But see, that's also not confidence, though,
Right.
right? Like if
Hmm.
I feel the need to
I mean, usually it's
go,
insecurity, right?
see, that's what I mean. So I think um, before we can even get to any other conversation, I feel like every time we have one of our talks, we come back to the definition. And many of times it feels like people have just made things up and we're just following it. You know what I mean? Like it's not even real at that point.
Yep.
Um, but that's how I feel. I think there are so many rules just useless.
Mm-hmm. And about women, women there's another specific rule.
Let's go. Let's go.
I mean, my brain goes right to, being a leader, being a boss, and if a woman's in a leadership position and talks with any authority, oh, their ego's huge. Or are they being a bitch? If they talk with any
She's
authority, go ahead.
intimidating. She is
Intimidation. Oh, let's go there. Let's go there. This is
let's
a
go there.
word that scars me, actually. It really does. Because
Do tell.
in my past, I've been told you're intimidating. Like it's a bad thing. Like I'm doing everything wrong. And I'm like, it internally, like I pride myself on coaching. I, learned how to coach kids. I, talk to everyone as an individual. I try to build my team up,
I
you
have never
know?
felt that way. I would not even know how to look at you and go, oh my God, intimidating. But then again, like, and not a lot of things intimidate me, but I think that's where the ego, but this is
But
exactly this
I
is,
was being told that this is a thing about me, that I am intimidating. So it killed me, like I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong that makes this happen? Finally, I'm sitting down with my father. And, just like he's the best coach in the world, he's the best therapist. I just have the greatest talks. My mom, too, she's great. I have two like coaches and leaders. And my dad stopped me in my tracks and said, Carly, it's not that you're intimidating, it's that others are intimidated by you. And I was like, all right, this is making sense. Like
and
it's
that's
about
their,
feelings.
and that's their ego. Like, that's exactly what it is. So, it's kind of like, are you intimidating or am I intimidated?
Right.
Same thing. So in your case, other people were intimidated because they didn't have that level of security. They didn't have that level of understanding. Whatever they were seeing in you, they were not seeing within themselves.
Hmm.
That's what it is. In the end, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Right. Like the healthy ego definition, for me at least, in any part of our life, my life has to serve me first. And then I can go beyond that. I will do the things I don't necessarily want to do only if I care so much, right? I care about the person so much. But if somebody wants me to do the things that are at the expense of me, that's where I draw
Yeah.
the line.
Right.
That's where it's a hard no. And if that's ego, I have been saved from a lot of pain, a lot of disrespect, and a lot of, there's some things I cannot picture myself doing, and I don't even mean it um in a good or bad way. It's just like some things I don't feel like I need to do. But
Hmm.
some things I want to do, even if it makes my parents mad, if it makes my boyfriend mad, it makes my dogs mad. Some things I just have to do. And stopping me from that would also not work, right?
Right.
So that's where I think, um re my huge cube of ego, I think that's where it is. Like, it is the center of the field, in the sense that when I think of my life, I'm thinking of my dreams and my goals, and every decision that I make, every move that I make, it has to serve me. And I cannot go around in my own life, if I am triggered by somebody or something, then I need to look within. Then I need to go, okay, why? What am I seeing in this person that I'm not seeing in me that I want? Or what am I seeing in them that I have at some point seen in myself that I don't want?
Hmm.
And both
Hmm.
of them are self work. They are both ego work that I have to
Yeah.
look within.
Yeah. It's about, I mean, I like how you said I heard self-worth, which is
Hmm.
another, it's self-worth, self-confidence, and self-awareness, right? Like you know
Hmm.
who you are and you know that's not for you or that is for you. And no matter what it may make others feel, you're putting yourself first into a situation. And isn't that sometimes what we have to do and need help with too at times? You know, like it can ebb and flow. So it's like when you are in need of that pep talk, it's like, all right, let's put my ego pants on right now. You know, like I've got to pump myself up. I need to get there. Whether it's going to, you know, just getting broken up with or, you know, going to ask for a raise, you know.
But you see why that happens when you break up with somebody who you've been in a relationship with on in a bad way, like not in a good relationship, right? And you'll see often that if you are the one who was um, bending their ego or like suppressing it, you would be the one who comes out of the relationship and suddenly has a makeover, like I don't even mean in a physical way, but like you have 3 degrees in like 3 to 5 business days, you have 5 new job offers, you're looking healthier and you're feeling better. And it why is that? Is because you took care of yourself. You finally did put yourself first. You finally
Right.
did it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is beautiful.
Love it.
Is it time for our next segment?
We can, yes. So
Let's do
we
it.
let's do this exercise. Um, it's called, it is from our favorite Kokology philosophies. And it's called The Mountain. And this is
Ooh.
actually, or Deep in the Mountains, some people call it, sometimes it's called. This was one of the first one that I did, and this is the one that made me fall in love with, like having to go through all of them. All right, you ready?
Yes, I'm getting myself situated. Let's go.
All right, the mountains and the sea. Nature
Mm.
has a power that draws us to her. After all, we are all nature's children, born into her world and fed on her bounty. No matter what marvels technology may develop, getting back to nature lets us feel truly alive. Medical science may make advances, but the best medicine will always be nature's own healing power. Your next journey will take you back to that green world, and what better setting for you to rediscover your natural self? 1. You've set off to climb a mountain in search of a fabulously rare stone. What is your impression of the mountain as you stand at its foot?
Do I tell you now or wait?
Wait,
Okay. I decided.
what?
Done.
Okay. Keep picturing that mountain.
Mhm.
After a hard search, you still haven't found the stone, and now the sun has fallen. What will you do next?
Easy.
And 3, you have finally discovered the stone you were seeking. What kind of stone is it? Describe its size, its weight, its value. And then lastly, now it's time for you to come down from the mountain and return home. What parting words do you have for the mountain, and what is its reply?
Aww. Done.
All right. So, the mountain that looms before you represents your father or a father figure in your life. In psychological terms, it's a manifestation of the archetype of the wise old man. The stone you seek symbolizes abilities and strengths you must discover within yourself on your own journey to adult independence. So, your impression of that mountain shows the image you have of your father or that father figure. Was it difficult and unforgiving, gentle and easily conquered? Or did you have an idealized image of a magnificent peak that somehow seemed to welcome you and encourage you in your quest?
Mine was really just kind of short and very green, like the mountains that are just like full of trees and stuff.
Yep.
So it was very like cozy.
Oh, that's nice.
It wasn't like it wasn't scary at all. It was just so it was almost like a hill with
Yep.
like greenery all over it. What about you?
Mine was enormous. And it was definitely like daunting up in front of me, like definitely heroic, green, lots of trees. I think that's because I'm from Maine and I see a lot of mountains that are green. So no like edgy cliffs or anything like that, but it was just like a challenge, in front of me and something that I had to beat kind of thing. So, two, the stone you are searching for represents your as yet undiscovered talent or strength. Your response to this question shows whether you will ever realize that untapped potential. People who say they'd keep searching for the stone no matter what tend to show the same persistence and determination in their own lives, never giving up even when efforts seem fruitless. Those who say they'd call it quits for the day but come back again to continue the search are the type who pace themselves, spreading their efforts over a long period of time. There are probably more than a few late bloomers in this group. And then people who gave up looking for the stone altogether are in danger of never fulfilling their true potential.
Not me. I was like, okay, I didn't find it, but sun will rise again and I'll shine again. I'll just do it tomorrow.
I feel like you probably took a nap.
I just, my mountain is just so nice and cozy. Why wouldn't I? I just
Right.
like,
Lay in the bed of
what else
clovers.
was I gonna do? Just chill out. I'll just look at it tomorrow.
I
What
just
about
kept
you?
going, definitely kept going into the night. I was like, yep, I gotta find it. So it's not gonna stop me.
No. I was like, okay, well, sun's gone. It's time for me to go to bed too.
Right. Let's see. So the way you describe the stone shows your feeling of self-worth. So back to the ego, your self-worth. How big and heavy was it? And what did you think of its value? I'm like, okay, you describe what mine was, and I'll describe what yours was.
Um, wasn't yours like diamond, like just like a
Yes,
huge rock of diamond?
it
Yeah,
was quite enormous. Like it was like in
yeah.
again, probably the same size as my cube.
Well, mine was relative. My cube shocked me when I
Right.
read the answer, and I was like, "Oh my god!" But my stone was big and like yellow orange, kind of a hue, just very
Oh,
warm,
yep.
very
Nice.
rare. Like I just got this sense of like one of a kind, just one of
Yeah.
a kind. There's no
Oh,
other.
nice. I know. I was kind of disappointed in my visuals of like, oh, you went cliche and did a diamond, but
No, I mean like the feeling. I'm sure like Yellowstones are like dime a dozen, but like that's how I felt about it.
yeah, no, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so you could really feel that way about your diamond, is
You're
what I'm trying
unique.
to say.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Then how big and heavy was that? What did you think of its value? Oh, about $20 or so. That's not much of an appraisal, is it? It turned out to be a huge diamond worth millions. Hold on now. Let's not get carried away with ourselves. I like the
I
wording of
don't,
this book too.
nobody's gonna tell me how to feel about myself.
Right? And then finally, your parting words to the mountain, probably a little obvious at this point, reveal what you've always wanted but never have been able to say to your father. Do you recognize any of these patterns? You, thanks for everything. Mountain, you take care of yourself. Or did you have that kind of ideal exchange, or did it go more like you, well, it looks like I'm finally through with you, and the mountain, you can say that again. Maybe it's time you and your father sat down for a talk.
Oh, no, mine was very much like the first one where like thank you for being so welcoming and kind. And the mountain was like, until next time. See you later. Kind
Yeah.
of an energy.
Mine was like, I gotcha, or like, I got it, ha, kind
Yeah.
of thing. And so the mountain was more like, all right, let's do it again soon, or something like that.
So we're just two daddy's little girls.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then
I
the
literally
teddy
texted
bears
my
hit
dad
those.
this morning.
Yeah.
Literally texted my dad this morning. I was like, I miss you. So
Yeah.
that's how. No surprises here.
Right.
Got it.
Oh, P.S. Today is my father's birthday, so happy
Oh,
birthday, David.
happy birthday, David. I hope my David doesn't see this and goes, "It's not my birthday. She forgot my
Wrong
birthday."
one.
It's the first David, actually.
All right. So I think to round everything out,
Mm.
we move on to, usually we try to sum it up with what a pep talk might be of like, let's keep it around ego and whether it's embracing your own or not letting others, bring your ego down. What would you sort of say?
I would really just say that don't worry about what people say or how people want you to act. Just make sure that you act like you want to and the inner self is satisfied. As long as that happens, people will figure it out. And not like people who are satisfied today might not be satisfied tomorrow, right? That's not up to me, or that's not up to my younger self. But what is that I don't lose myself in the process of making other people happy. That cannot happen. So, loss of friendships, relationships, jobs, anything, everything is worth losing if it comes for my sense of self. And that's a one thing, if I could just put it on a billboard in space so that everybody could see, that you start with you first. The rest of the world will figure itself out. Just you start there. Just you start at understanding yourself and treating yourself as the most precious thing that you have and you own. Go from there and watch how the right genuine relationships, genuine friendships, genuine work relationships, jobs, whatever, will find you. And that's it. That's your prime. That's if you fix this much, everything else
Mm,
is optional. Everything else just like falls into place.
love it. Love it. Amen. I think mine would be a little bit of a twist on, I'm thinking about those times where my ego isn't big enough, and there are moments where if you don't walk into that room, walk into that conversation, walk into that interaction with confidence, no one's going to have confidence in you. And I think that that's something I need to remind myself of a lot. And so
It's
it's
a
like,
good one.
yeah, put your ego pants on. Don't be afraid. You got this.
Why every time you say that? We need to add it to our merch section.
Yes,
Ego
I think we need
pants?
a t-shirt. They'll be sweatpants.
Pants. Ego pants.
Ego pants.
Oh my god, sorry, go on. I
No, that was
interrupted
it.
you.
I kept it simple because I think that that's the key in myself that I can see is when that confidence is lacking. But you can do it. There's something that's lacking or making it shoved down, and so
Yeah.
you got to bring it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't let people push you down, push you away, push
Mm-hmm.
you anything. Just push your buttons. Don't let people push you. You
Yep.
push your own buttons. You do. You decide. And that's our spiel on ego and why it's
Yeah.
a good thing. Yay. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Yes, sounds good.
Toodles.
Bye.
Bye.